Good afternoon, and I'm back out on a walk that I did in the summer. Lovely sort of circular walk from Balcombe Station all the way round back to Balcombe Station, taking in the Ouse Valley Viaduct. At the time it sort of took in the Ardingly Reservoir and places like that. I'm not intending on going quite so far. I bought myself a new camera yesterday, the Nikon Z6III, and I wanted to sort of take it for a little bit of a trial run today, so I thought I'd come on this lovely walk. I do want to sort of start collecting some iconic shots really of the local area. Thinking about doing a fair with Mel in a few weeks' time and displaying some of my photography. I don't really have a large collection of sort of landscapey, localised photos, so I thought I'd come out today to see if I can get some things like that. Sort of in the afternoon. I'm thinking I would like to do some sort of long exposure photography, which obviously isn't going to be very appropriate on this particular bit of walk. I want to get sort of some of the places around the local area with some good sort of light trails and things like that. A lot muddier than when I came in the summer, I'll tell you that for nothing. It was dry as a bone when I came last time this way. But I thought today I'd sort of just have a little walk into the woods, see if I can capture some birds and some wildlife with this new camera. So far what I've seen is very good. So it's all about sort of trialling that out really. I remember looking at these in the summer thinking, why have I got them? And then you look at how wet that is. I'll try going round. You can hear some pheasants up ahead. Certainly a bit of a mud pit, making up for that exceedingly dry summer that we've had. Probably still nowhere near enough water yet. Well, this was very different when I came in the summer. Pretty sure that was corn on the cob growing there. Lots of it, and there's lots of activity inside in terms of bird life. They would have all been pushed elsewhere. Oh, we've got several birds of prey up there. Might get some of that. See what the camera can do. So here she is. We've got the Nikon Z6III, and I do have the F mount adapter, and for this I'm shooting with my Tamron 70 to 300, and it did a fairly good job of tracking as it was going. One of the features of this camera is like a very, very intelligent autofocus tracking system, and it was doing it very well. I suspect the difficulties it had were probably to do with the lens rather than the camera. This wasn't a particularly expensive zoom lens, but sometimes beggars can't be choosers, and it's my most sort of like serious zoom lens, so that's what I had to go with for that. But fairly decent results, I think you'll agree. Yeah, I remember this being a challenging walk in the summer. It was very hot that day, and it's a long walk. Challenging today for different reasons, like very, very muddy and slippy underfoot. So it's taking me a while because there's some areas where I don't want to sort of like plunge down for fear of sort of spraining something or whatever. Anyways, no rush. I'm enjoying being out. I need to get a better handle over the focusing system on the camera. There's been some moments that I've missed because it's still sort of I don't know how to quickly get it out of autofocus. And you sort of got this, all of these dots coming up. You know, I always have it set for single point focus so I can be in charge, but I'm not able to quickly overcome that at the moment, so I've missed some decent shots because of it. So yeah, anyway, it's a learning curve. I know I'll be able to get over that. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Lovely blue skies. Not too cold today. It looks as if I'm coming out of this bit now to go onto the road for a bit. But there, it looks wet again. So yeah, anyway, it's a good walk. And then it'd be interesting to see what I get later when I take everything off. Viaduct is in sight. I took some shots of it from a distance just now, which I'll put on now. I'm not staying long on the path. Looks as if we go down there. Sort of vaguely remember all this from the summer. And I see some other walkers that are heading the same way, so I'm going all right. Yeah, when I walked this in the summer, I was using a really good app, which I had on a free trial at the time. But I don't have it anymore, I didn't subscribe to it. So kind of doing this from memory now, so it's a little bit more fraught, but you do sort of tend to notice things a bit better, I feel. So it really is amazing, like how many people have forgotten sort of like their humanity almost, or their good sense. Like literally driving towards me along this road. There's no pavements, so I can step to the side. I am walking literally right as close to the verge as I can. The amount of cars that just sort of do not even slow down is just incredible. Like literally, I'll show you. Let's have a look. Got a van. Oh dear, poor little bird there. He really is slowing down, is he? He's still going fast. Motoring by. See, like number 2, what are you going to do? So at least getting out, so it's nice. Good. Most of them will get out like that. It's not the problem, it's like, but they'll go halfway in the road, or even right over the other side of the road. And you can see behind me, there's not really a massive gap for that. And it's sort of like for the sake of slowing down, for, you know, to get part on. There's not going to be many pedestrians along this road. I wish I didn't have to. I'm just trying to really get back to my car because the light's failing. To complete the walk would have been a no. It'd have been in blackness, and I do want to try and get over to Horsted Keynes to capture a steam train. But yeah, sort of like, you don't want to walk these roads. Most people sort of pull out. People aren't pulling out, but it's not altering their speed. It's like unbelievable. I think it's always good to have perspective. I think, like, you know, I drive a lot. I've got 2 cars coming now. So like you can see me slow down. Like unbelievable. Guy there just absolutely pelting it, not slowing at all. Like at risk. There was cars coming the other way there as well. I'm trying to say it's good to have perspective, you know. I think a lot of us mainly spend time in the car these days, and I really think it's good for people to get out, either on a bike or on foot, walking out on the roads like this. Hopefully it'll make you a better driver, maybe a bit of a better person as well, because some of these people, God knows what they're rushing for, to get back to their sad lives. Happy to see the cars, or the cars where my car is parked, to try and make that sentence make sense a bit more. Yeah, a bit hair raising that. I'm losing the daylight now, as you might see. So it's a good time to get back and move on with phase 2 of my little photography mission. So yeah, I'm stood in a field waiting for the train from the Bluebell Railway to go past. Did think I'd go and watch it at Horsted Keynes Station, but was informed that by someone there that it was absolutely not allowed, and you know, the people had paid a lot of money to book out the train and they needed it all to themselves. So I did find that a little bit of a strange decision from a heritage railway, particularly when people making content obviously gives them promotion, makes people aware of their brand. But if that's how they want it, I'm in the field where I camped and got woken up by the rave that time. And just looking on the live cam, the train hasn't left Sheffield Park yet, so I'm going to be stood in the middle of a field for a little bit. And after what seemed like a long time, the train did eventually start pulling out of Sheffield Park, as shown here on the online cameras that Sheffield Park Station has on YouTube, and was on its way finally to where I was waiting for it. Yeah, and finally home, and I suppose pretty pleased for the first outing with my new camera. There's lots I need to learn for it. First of all, that's what I'll say. Most of the stuff that I've put onto this video is like completely out of camera. I haven't edited. And I think, as you can see, it's pretty good quality straight out of the frame, really, out of the camera. So delighted with that, and obviously, you know, using it for professional purposes, I'll need to learn a lot more about what I'm doing on it. But I really enjoyed it. It really feels good quality. Really impressed with the low light video that it took of the train. You know, far and away better than anything I've got. You know, I've got some great technology on my iPhone. I've got an Insta360 X5, and none of it would have created video as quality as what was shown here. So that was really good. Reflections on the day. Yeah, I mean, sort of obviously that really scary road, and the way people drive was quite eye-opening. And probably we all do that, you know, and it is something to sort of think about, I guess, for future me anyway, at least, so I can be a better driver. And yeah, and I suppose the Bluebell Railway as well did look into sort of like prices. I think like you're talking £35 per ticket, even for a child above 5. And you know, the first class compartment, which seats 6 people, going for 250, with another third class compartment going for 210, which seats 8. I sort of I feel a little bit like, you know, I don't appreciate the way that they sort of prioritise money making at that railway, and the attitude of the man that I met on the platform stunk. I mean, you could say I was a bit entitled maybe, but I was very polite to him, and just sort of, I couldn't believe that, you know, I mean, in reality, I was a good 50 minutes before that train got to the station, I was quite willing to purchase sort of items. I was going to have a couple of beers from the bar there. It's only a very small sort of shop where you can purchase sort of ale and things. I was going to get a couple of those, probably could have made £10 to £15 from, you know, me there. And also, you know, it wasn't a busy night. There were people on the train, but you could easily accommodate people coming to watch that train coming in, maybe putting them on another platform. But anyway, that's a future sort of like consideration. I don't tell Bluebell Railway how to run, but I you know, working or volunteering in that realm, as well as having lots of contacts that are in the railway business and in Heritage Railway, there are stories about how the Bluebell Railway conducts itself and how it isn't sort of the most friendliest of places. And I must say, in this one gentleman I spoke to tonight, I did see that. Not a very pleasant individual at all. But anyway, there you go. I was pleased that I moved into that field, because I thought that the angle that I got of it was far better than what I would have got if it was just coming into the platform. First impressions of the Nikon Z6III is I'm very, very excited and positive about it, and already sort of thinking about arranging shoots and, you know, doing lots of stuff with it. So yeah, happy days. Anyway, if you made it all the way to this part of the video, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.